Sorry, I've been so busy that my brain is taking time to catch up with me.
Well, you know what? Do we want to, why don't we just introduce the show up at the top here?
Really? At the beginning?
Yeah, why not? It could be a whole new professional thing.
So novel.
Okay, so...
I'm Jenna.
I'm Jared. This is Hoot and Review.
That's the show name.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a podcast in case you didn't figure that out.
Hopefully
you can stream
have figured it out.
It's all good.
What really matters is what you like, not what you are like. Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.
Let's see. Well, yeah, let's do the business of plugging, which is Hoot and Review everywhere, Instagram, Twitter.
Facebook that we never really look at. But
yeah, well, actually, really none of them do I ever really look at, which is unfortunate.
I'm so bad. And that's how you get famous is you market yourself. You like blast that shit out and everybody follows you, right?
Right.
We're not doing a good job,
Jared. Supposedly. I don't know. I haven't figured out how to get really many followers in anything, to be honest. So
yeah, life. I don't have many followers in life.
That's my favorite quote to drop from anything is Marvin the android from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It just says, "Life, don't talk to me about life."
Yes, thank you.
Yes, that's. But yeah. If people wanted to engage with us, I was for the first time, and I don't know, I'm a little nuts, and that's I'm sure well documented. But I got into a conversation with myself on Twitter the other day because I am the only person who does any of the posting for any of the accounts. So I have an account for limited engagement, one for Hoot and Waddle. Mm-hmm. I have one for Hoot and Review, and I have one for What the Fork. Right. I figure that Jessie Bali has, she pretty much has a team for Chatterbox.
Yeah.
She has more people doing things for Chatterbox than I do for all of Hoot and Waddle, which is great. That means that she knows how to delegate. Yes. And me, I'm more of a control freak. So that doesn't help things. But I started talking down to myself through the various Twitter accounts. Yeah. Giving myself a hard time through the other accounts.
Oh, well, like how? How did this get started?
Because, well, the one person who does promotion is Jason Kyle. Mm-hmm. He's actually really good at it. He does sharing and promotion every time he has an article somewhere in the New Times or in Phoenix Magazine or wherever, and he'll promote anytime there's a new What the Fork. And he and his wife just had a baby. Uh-huh. So I was like, oh crap, Jason's not going to promote this. I'd better do something.
Baby stuff all over the place. Jeez.
Yeah, and he actually did some sort of post on it, and or he and I had some conversation about The Good Place, I think, over Twitter, and so then I, in the voice of the podcast, broke in as it would be nice to be included on this, and then not that, and then I called myself out on not that I would be any good at promoting anything, and then just the whole
you called yourself out again and put yourself down a little,
exactly, and then in my own voice was like, come on guys, but
aw,
yeah, it was
the many voices of Jared Duran.
I got both a kick out of it, and I don't know, gave myself a hard time. It was basically what I do in person, but in almost like a multiple personality situation on Twitter.
Do you remember Bob Dole?
Bob Dole.
Do you remember he had that quirk about him where he would talk about himself in third person?
Well, of course, because it was made fun of mercilessly on Saturday Night Live. Yeah. Was it?
Could you imagine Bob Dole on Twitter?
Bob Dole?
I believe so. Oh man, Hartman was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could really take on a character.
Bob Dole.
Bob Dole's gonna get up and go golfing tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bob Dole needs to make a phone call.
I have to be sure though. I
feel like Nixon was probably like that too.
It had to. Well, it had to be. It had to be Phil Hartman because
who else?
Dana Carvey was.
His head isn't round enough to do Bob Dole.
Well, no, Dana Carvey was. No, it couldn't have been Phil Hartman because didn't Bob Dole go against Clinton? And
yes.
Hartman would have been Clinton.
Oh.
But Dana Carvey was
Bush? HW?
No, he was little weird guy. God damn it. Ross Perot.
Oh, that's right. Ross Perot.
Let's see, who was Bob Dole?
Who was an eccentric billionaire. You know, I'm going to say this about Ross Perot. Not all of his ideas were bad.
Ross Perot?
Yeah. I think he had some mild racist tendencies, and that's not cool. But
it was Norm Macdonald?
What? Really?
Yeah.
He was Bob. No, that makes sense because I can hear the Norm Macdonald voice now.
Bob Dole. Yeah. Yeah, it was Norm Macdonald.
That's right. Do you ever watch his show?
The sitcom he had?
Yeah, or no, doesn't he have like
something now?
I think he has a talk show that's on. We can look it up, HBO or something. Or he's got a podcast.
Yeah, he had something. I think Norm Macdonald was funny.
I kind of find him highly annoying, but once in a while he's got a good bit.
He can be I don't know. He's damn it, what's his name? His Burt Reynolds was hysterical.
Yeah.
Let's see, what does he do now?
The real Burt Reynolds is hysterical.
Well, the real Burt Reynolds is dead.
Was hysterical.
Okay, so he's got Norm Macdonald has a show on Netflix.
Yeah.
And that's the name of it, is Norm Macdonald has a show. I've never seen it.
I have.
He's going to be in Phoenix.
Okay.
March 14th through the 16th.
Oh, wow. Well, that's next spring.
It is.
Notice I didn't say I'm lining up for tickets. But
you know what? I might.
You
I
might?
don't know. I don't know if I would pay for it. If he might be somebody I would send out an interview request to his people or something.
Oh yeah, you should.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I saw live comedy, but I've been liking it a lot. I've been, thinking about Robin Williams and revisiting that kind of stuff. I've been watching. So my friend suckered me into Amazon Prime because he pointed out that if you register as a student, it's much cheaper.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. So now I'm getting just vacuumed into the whole world of Prime shows, which are, this is good because I had almost burnt out all my Netflix things that I like, and I almost burnt out all of my Hulu.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that just reminded me of a Maria Bamford joke. She has a joke about how it is actually possible to watch all the Holocaust films on Netflix.
Is it? All of them?
That's a deep well. I'm just saying. But so I'm into Prime now, and Prime suggested to me this show called The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Have you seen it? Or
I've seen the first couple of episodes. It's the person who did Gilmore Girls.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting. The music is pretty good on the soundtrack, so that kind of matches.
Well, and the person who, I think that it's Sam Phillips, who did also the original music for the Gilmore Girls.
Okay.
I think she does the original music for Maisel.
Yeah. Rachel Brosnahan is the lead. And the premise is that, I don't want to be a spoiler, but her husband is into comedy, and it's like, I think it's the 50s. It's the 1950s.
Yeah, well,
she's
the idea
housewife.
is that she runs into, within the first episode or two, she runs into Lenny Bruce.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it gets developed in season 1. They kind of have a loose friendship.
Okay.
But through a series of events, she and her husband split, and she has a breakdown, and the breakdown leads to her getting up on stage on accident and doing a comedy show in her nightgown, which leads to her getting interested in comedy.
Right.
And this show is so interesting to me. Some scenes are actually painful for me to watch because of the gender dynamic back then. Like, it's it's such a weird stretch for me to accept that society used to be this way that always thought of women in only a certain way.
Yeah.
And that's just how you were. Like, there's a scene where she gets confronted by the judge because she gets arrested for lewd behavior.
Well, I believe
indecency.
She inadvertently exposes herself during the...
Right. The very first, which is a hilarious scene and like very well done. Also, I just like brief nudity, so fine. But she's face to face with this judge who just is taking like the strict disciplinarian, authoritarian mode and basically scolding her like a child. And that scene was really painful for me to watch.
I think that may be the next episode for me.
Okay, I don't want to spoil it, but
I mean, I don't know how many
think.
episodes I've seen because it seemed like they packed a lot into what I did see. We get introduced to her parents and the great Tony Shalhoub is her dad.
First episode or pilot, I guess, is like a whole hour long. And a lot happens. And to be really honest, I think that first episode, the relationship between she and her husband feels really uneven to me. In fact, when they split up, I almost don't buy it.
When they split up?
Yeah, because at the very beginning of the episode, they are just so in love, and there's nothing that leads to their demise. There's one moment where she glances at his secretary, who's a nitwit, and she can't figure out how to sharpen.
That made perfect sense to me. It doesn't seem like, as that man anyway, that he would know how to handle her being more funny than he is.
Okay, that part I get, but it doesn't feel like the marriage was weakened in any way until that moment where he fails. Yeah. And then he blames it on her. Yeah. It just seems too abrupt to me. I don't know.
I had no problem with that.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Just this one moment of foreshadowing where she glances over at the moron secretary.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only clue. Okay. All right.
But I like what I've seen. I will eventually get around to watching the rest of it.
I've gotten further into the season than you have, but some of the episodes now are a little bit not as engaging. I'm curious to get to season 2 because I think that just launched, right?
I think it just launched. Yeah. I think it went up this week or something like that.
Yeah, I'll get there by this weekend.
Well, one of the great things about streaming original series is there's only like 10, 12 episodes per season. Yeah.
Very easy to digest.
I speaking of Prime, I just last night decided to go ahead and try watching the Romanovs.
Oh, that has a really good trailer, but one of my friends told me it's a crappy series. What do you think?
I'm holding off on it. I'm waiting to see. It's not. I guess I didn't know much about it other than it was Matthew Weiner who created Mad Men. Okay. So I knew that going in.
Who are some of the leads? I feel like it had good talent.
Well, I didn't realize that it was. I didn't realize that they were. That it was a serial sort of thing, or that it was individual stories, like an anthology show. I had assumed that there was some sort of arc to it, and maybe there is. I don't know. I've only watched the first 1 3/4 episode or something.
So it's
the first one had Aaron Eckhart.
Oh, okay.
Was the only one that I recognized, and it took place in Paris. Okay. And the second one, which I didn't finish last night, was Noah Wyle was in it, and so was the guy who played the... Oh, I'm not going to be able to think of his name. The one of the partners from Mad Men who owned the firm, Sterling or something.
Oh, the white-haired guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was in that actor. And then speaking of the actress who played Miss Maisel, it was a guy from House of Cards. Oh. One of the people from that.
Oh, that's right. That's where I knew her from. I'm like, gorgeous young actress, but I know her from somewhere. Yes. Rachel,